Hello everyone, myself JR Shinde. In this video, we will discuss the introduction part of object-oriented programming. As per the syllabus, chapter number 1 is Principles of Object-Oriented Programming. From this chapter, we will cover the some topics. Let's start with history of C++. C++ was developed by Danish computer scientist Vigen Strastrup at Bell Labs since 1979 as an extension of the C language. Initially, it is called C with classes. The name implies that it to be a superset of the C language. In 1983, the name of the language was changed from C with classes to C++. Basically, C was the existing language. New feature is added, that is classes. So it is called as C with classes. Some people also call that superset of the C language. But in 1983, additional new features are added in that language. So it is called as C++. All of you know that C in programming language, plus plus is a increment operator. That means it increases the existing variable value by 1. Similarly, C++ means C with additional new features. Many people call that language as a CPP. Next topic is characteristics of procedure oriented programming. In this first video, in this first figure, you can see the structure of procedure oriented programming. Main program is main program contains with many functions, function 1, function 2, like this. All functions are connected to each other. They share the data with each other. In second diagram, you can see the global data which is declared at the starting of the program, and all the functions can access that global data because it is publicly declared. We can see the characteristics point wise. First one is it emphasizes on procedure. That means main focus of the POP language is on procedure. Next point, large programs are divided into smaller programs known as functions. You can see this diagram. The main program is contains multiple functions. If you divide that program into subparts, then you will get the functions. Next point is function can communicate by global variables. In second diagram, you can see that the globally declared variables can be accessible to all the functions in the program. Next point, data moves freely from one function to another function. Functions are connected to each other, so data transfers can be done. Next point, it follows top-down approach for programming. Means in the POP programming language, at the starting of program, you have to write the main function and then other functions. So it follows top-to-down approach. Next topic is characteristics of object-oriented programming. In this diagram, you can see the object A, object B, object C, and all the objects are of a single class. So the single program contains the multiple objects, but you can see that the single object contains its own data variables and functions, and all are the tied with the object. Each object has its own separate data variables. So we will see the characteristics point wise. First one is emphasis is on data rather than procedure. Means main focus is given on the procedure. But in POP, the main focus, sorry, the in POP, the main focus is given on data. But in POP, the main focus is given on the procedure. Next point, programs are divided into objects. Here the if you divide this program into subparts, then you will get the objects. Next point is functions that operate on the data of an object are tied together. You can see that the object A, it contains its own data variables and functions are tied with the objects. Next one is data is hidden and cannot be accessed by the external functions. In OOP, there is a one feature that is access specifier. You can protect your data by using access specifier. Next one is function transform data from one to another. Here functions, basically objects are connected to each other. but the communication done between the functions. Last point, functions follow it follows bottom up approach in program design. Basically, in OOP language, at the starting of program, the definition of class is declared, and after that the main function is declared. But the programmer compiler goes or starts from main function, so it goes in the bottom and execute the main function. That's why it is called as bottom up approach. Next topic is difference between POP and OOP. From last two slides, we have discussed about the characteristics of POP and OOP, so you can easily differentiate between OOP and POP. So let's start with the first point. Emphasis is on procedure. In OOP, emphasis is on data. Means main focus in POP on data, sorry, procedure, and main focus given on data in OOP. Second point, the large programs are divided into smaller programs called as functions. In OOP, programs are divided into objects. Third point, in POP, the most of the functions share the global data, means data is publicly declared. But in OOP, functions that operates on data of an object are tied together, means variables of the each objects are tied with separately. Fourth point, data moves openly around the system from function to function. In POP, functions are connected to each other, so they share the data with each other. But in OOP, data is hidden and cannot be accessed by the external functions. Fifth point, it follows top-down approach for program design. In OOP, it follows bottom-up approach for program design. Next point, basically POP language does not support manipulators. So manipulators not available. In OOP, it supports manipulators. So manipulators are available like Endel, ZW, and many more manipulators are there. Last point, programming languages of POP, that is Fortran, C, COBOL, etc. And programming languages of OOP, that is C++, Java, C hash means C sharp, and many more. Next topic is operators in OOP. There are many new operators are introduced in OOP language. We can see the insertion operator, extraction operators. These are the input output operators. New delete are the memory management operators. Endl, ZW are the manipulators. We will see in brief in next slide. So the output operators. In this diagram, you can see the variable value is displayed on the screen by using insertion operator and cout object. Initially, variable value is inserted into the object by using insertion operator, and the object cout displays the content into the output device. You can use cout insertion operator hello as a syntax for displaying the hello word in the output session. You can also use variable for displaying the content. This statement introduces two new C++ features, cout and insertion operator. Basically, it inserts the content of variable its right to the object of its left. Next, input operators. In this diagram, you can see that whatever you have entered through keyboard, it inserted into the buffer of the scene object, and the content extracted using extraction operator and assigned to the variable. It extracts the value from keyboard and assigns it to the variable. Next one is memory management operators. There are two types of operators. First one is new operator. The new operator can be used to create the objects of any type. You can create multiple objects at a time. The syntax for this new operator is pointer variable is equal to new data type. For creating the object of class, you have to use the new operator. Next one is delete operator. By using delete operator, we can destroy the object. This means the lifetime of an object is directly under our control. When data object is no longer needed, it is destroyed to release the memory space for reuse. Syntax for the delete operator is delete keyword and then pointer variable. Next one is scope resolution operator. Basically, it is used to uncover the hidden property of the global variables. You can see the example. Here C is a variable of character type. It is declared at two places. One is outside void main and second one is inside void main. Outside void main considered as a global variable and inside a void main is considered as a local variable. If you try to display the value of C in the void main in the main function, then it only displays the local value. If you have to display the global variable value, then you have to use the scope resolution operator. Here C is basically local declaration of same variable hides the presence of the global variable. Next one is manipulators. setw and endl are the manipulators and many more manipulators are also available in OOP. We will see the setw. setw manipulator sets the width of the field assigned for the output. Basically, it right justifies the all the text. For example, here setw 10 is the width assigned for the content. You can see the 10 blocks and the actual content is only of 7 blocks, but the content are in the right justified format. Second one is endl. Endl manipulator is used to terminate the line and flushes the buffer. Basically, endl it works similarly as a /n in C. In this example, you can see that after each cout statement at the end we have used endl. That means all the content are printed on the separate lines. Next one is structure of C++ program. Basically, C++ program is classified into four parts. First one is include statements. Include statements are nothing but the header files. Second one is class declaration. Third one is class function definition, and next one is main program, means main function. First, include statements contains preprocessor statements to include various header files. Second one is in class declaration, we are defining class, its member variable and declaration of the member functions. Third one is class function definition section contains the definition of the various class member functions. Last one is at last there is a main program which starts with the execution of the program and create the object of class. Basically, a single program is stored in a three separate files, that is class declaration file and class member function definition file is included into the main program to link all of them. This structure is known as the client server architecture. You can see this diagram. Class definition and member function are linked with together, so it is considered as a server, and main function contains as a client, because in main program you are creating the objects and multiple objects accessing the server data. Next one is difference between class and structure. So the first point is class keyword is used to declare a class. In structure, struct keyword is used to declare a structure. Second point, it contains member variables and member functions. But in structure, only member variables are allowed. Member functions are not allowed. Third point, in class, data member of a class can be protected. In structure, data members of a struct can't be protected. because in class there is a access specifier, so we can protect the data. Fourth point, classes used new keyword for creating instances. Can create an instance with or without new keyword. Means in class you have to use new keyword for creating the object of class, but in structure it is not mandatory to use new keyword. Fifth point, by default access specifier is private in class, but in structure the access specifiers are not allowed and the data is basically by default public. Sixth point, a class can inherit from another class, means a property of one class can acquire the property of another class, means this is the inheritance concept. But in structure, struct is not allowed to inherit from another class or struct because it does not support inheritance concept. Next topic, sample program of C++. Here at the initial statement is hash include iostream.h. It requires for cin and cout operations, means input and output operation. Second header file is conio.h. It requires for getch, but here we are not using getch, so no need to mention it. Second, third statement, int main. Here main function having return type as an integer because in C++ every program returns the integer value. So instead of writing void main you have to write int main, and instead of writing getch you have to write return 0. For displaying hello world you have to use the statement cout operator hello world. In double quotes, whatever you have entered, it will be appeared in the output screen. Next, applications of OOP. There are multiple applications of OOP language. So we will see the one by one. Real-time applications, object-oriented database system, hypertext and hypermedia, AI, that means artificial intelligence and expert systems, decision support systems, Office automation systems, neural networks, parallel programming, CAD CAM systems means computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing. Next one is simulation and modeling. Basically, OOP is used in machine uh, means POP considered as a machine programming language because it is embedded. It is used in embedded systems. There are many more applications of OP you can see in this diagram. It is used for database purpose, medical applications, computation platforms, designing web browsers, and many more. Thank you.